Hey everyone, I'm MK Ahern. I'm the director of Azala Press, and today I am here with Rachel Tork, who has an upcoming release. I am going to let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Rachel Tork. I am a romantasy and romance author, and I am under Azala Press. I am the author of the Evening Star Saga and another book that I'm going to talk about here in just a second.
Yeah, so you have an upcoming release in less than a week now, which is so exciting. Can you tell us a little bit about the book, the title, kind of give us a little overview?
Yeah. So the book is called The Lines We Cross. It is a forbidden attraction contemporary romance, and it follows a relationship between a grad student in music school and her professor, and then kind of all of the fallout and complications that come from that relationship. And it has tropes like forced proximity, forbidden attraction, obviously, and I'll go into the next one in a second here because there's another trope I want to talk about, but we'll save that.
Yeah. And I feel like I should preface, I have read this book. I had the honor of reading it early, and I am so obsessed. So I'm so excited to be doing this Q&A. So this is a little bit different. I have read your romantasy books, the Evening Star Saga, but this is the first contemporary romance that you're going to be publishing, right?
It is, yeah, it is.
So that's a little bit different from writing romantasy, I can imagine. Were there any difficulties in switching from doing romantasy now to contemporary romance?
Yeah, so when I wrote the book, I wasn't like super familiar with the genre because I was mostly still a fantasy reader at the time, so I was kind of just going off vibes when I wrote the book initially. So really, most of the heavy lifting came during the editing phase, where I kind of did a bit more research into the genre. And I would say the area I had to do the most research in was actually writing the male POVs in a romance book, because when I wrote the first draft, I didn't actually write in Julian's POVs initially, and so adding those was kind of like a new thing for me, especially in contemporary romance. I feel like there can be a very particular voice to male POVs in romance books that I had to kind of get familiar with myself.
Yeah, I can imagine. And the voice is very different from what it is in romantasy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
This book is highly emotional. I feel like it was a roller coaster when I read it. People are saying it is very similar to the vibes of a Grey's Anatomy finale. And you can just tell you poured so much love and emotion into this. Was there any specific inspiration for the book?
So I think when I wrote it, I didn't think about it too much. I just kind of it just kind of came out. But retrospectively thinking about it, I definitely like the thing I like writing about the most, knowing this now in romance, is the intersection of trauma and then also the intersection of trauma and then like relationships and love. And I think like personally going through some stuff like that, I wanted to kind of put across the message that you can be healing, but you can also still love and be loved. And that is like a really important message for me to put out there.
I love that. That is so amazing. I feel like I definitely got that when I read it. I went into this book expecting it to be fluffy because I feel like at first when I glanced over and you sent it to me, you were like, "Hey, I have this romance," and I was like, "Give it to me." And when I started reading, I was like, "Oh, this is way different than I expected. I'm going through all the emotions. I am so attached to these characters. I I'm just so in love with it." There is one aspect of the book that is a bit controversial in the romance world. I personally love books with it. I feel like when this trope is written the right way, it can bring so much tension. It just heightens the stakes of a contemporary romance. It is everything I love. But can you talk about how can you talk about what the trope is and how you navigated including this trope and the marketing that you chose to do to kind of prepare readers for that? Because I know there are some readers who do not love the trope.
Yeah, so the trope is accidental pregnancy. Ding ding. So I actually like this trope quite a lot as well. But the problem I found with it when as a reader was I wasn't really finding books that I found did the trope well. There's a couple out there that I really love, but I guess I wanted more. So I just kind of wrote the book that I wanted with that trope, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
As far as marketing it, it has been a little challenging because I think some people will see that it has that trope and then just run the other way. So I've definitely been trying to compare it to comp titles that have the trope that people have liked. Like I've compared it to Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. And then I also have found that just like coming out and saying it right away is just better than trying to like hide it and like be sly about it. Because then at least people know, and if they really are not interested, then okay, that's not for them, and that's fine. So I think just being like forthright with it has been like the marketing tactic I've kind of geared towards, especially in the last couple months leading up to release day.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there is an audience out there for it because I see it all the time. My TikTok is so curated to me right now, and I get all those little like the slide through scenes,
Yeah.
and I get so many that are pregnancy and accidental pregnancy trope ones, and I fall for it every time. Every single
I
time
need
I'm
to
like
get on your
stuck
For You page.
in, saving that. I'm like, so there are people like us out there who want it. Um, but yeah, I am really hoping that you find those readers because I know that the romance world can be a little controversial when it comes to that. But I promise everyone who's watching, if you're iffy or on the border about the trope, it's worth it. Give it a shot and you will not regret it. For readers who might not be familiar with the book, who might not have arc read it, or listening to this, what comp titles would you compare it to? I know you mentioned one, but if you had to say this book was a mashup of a couple titles, what would they be?
Yeah, so the one I use very often is Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto, just because it definitely like has the same kind of musical elements that this book has. But then I would say like add in, like you said before, add in like a Grey's Anatomy season finale to like elevate all of the angst and the drama like way up. So those are the kind of that's the kind of mashup I would say is Not Another Love Song and Grey's Anatomy.
That is awesome. This is kind of a random question that just sprung in my head based on that. So this book does have a lot of musical elements. How did you navigate, like, including those, making sure they were accurate? Do you have a musical background that kind of played into that?
So the main character, Rowan, plays the flute. I play the flute kind of up to early high school. It wasn't like a very particularly long time, but I am like generally familiar with the instrument. I also play piano and I sing, so I'm pretty familiar with the music elements of
You're
it.
qualified.
Yeah, which is kind of part of what gave me the idea. So yeah, because I love music.
That's awesome. And for readers who might be considering picking this up, what type of romance is this? Is it closed door? Is it steamy, spicy? What level can they kind of expect?
I would say it's like somewhere between steamy and spicy, depending on your like own personal perception of that. It's definitely not closed door. There's definitely a lot of open door scenes.
I can confirm that. Yeah, I think that's a really fair rating. Like, it's definitely not like fully spicy, the entire book spicy, but I
Hmm.
mean, there's definitely spicy, steamy scenes. I
Yeah.
mean, it's accidental pregnancy. It's out there
Yeah,
somehow. But
exactly.
yeah, that's a very fair rating. In terms of marketing for this book, I am obsessed with everything you put out there. Like all of the videos and graphics I see, like this book, even just the cover alone, like the vibes are amazing. What has been your favorite part of both writing this book and then marketing it?
Honestly, this has been like 100% a passion project, like through and through from start to where we are now. And so just like being able to share this as like a finished product is insanely exciting to me. But the one thing that I was most excited for during the whole process of marketing and everything was, like you said, the cover. I was so excited when I saw this cover. It's just like my favorite thing ever, and I feel like it captures the book and the essence of the book so well.
100%. And if people haven't seen the cover yet, I'm gonna like put it up on the screen if they're watching this video. But personally, it gives me Snape and Lily vibes,
Yes.
which now I can't unsee that. Someone said it on social media, and now I'm like, I can't unsee that. The vibes are immaculate.
I know,
But
I've
yeah,
had so many
I
people say that.
yeah, and honestly, the book itself, like, kind of has the vibes. Like, I could see that. So if you are out there and you're like, I wish I had a story with Snape and Lily vibes, possibly this one.
Hmm. Hmm.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share before the upcoming release? Anything you want readers to know before they go pick this book up?
Yeah, I mean, I would just kind of reiterate what you said before about like the accidental pregnancy trope. If that is something you're like not in love with or you're kind of on the fence about, I would encourage you to just, if there's other things about the book that you were like, ooh, maybe just give it a go, give it a try, you know? If you don't like it, that's fine. And everybody has preferences, but I wouldn't let that one trope hold you back if there's anything I can say to readers.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like in this story, it doesn't really take you by surprise. Like I feel like you kind of see it coming. You have enough warning. It's written in very well, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Which I think that's where accidental pregnancy always throws me off is when it just
Yeah.
comes out of like left field and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah,
How
like
did you
that
get
was random.
here? That's when I'm like, I don't know about this trope, but if you are on the fence about this, I think you all should give it a try. Where can readers find you on social media, and then where can they pre-order the book?
So my Instagram and TikTok is easy. It's the same name. It's Rachel Tork, author. And then you can pre-order the book. I believe you can only pre-order it on Amazon, if I'm correct about that.
I believe so.
And then it will also be on Kindle Unlimited. So if you are a KU reader, keep that in mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say the paperback has been a whole thing for pre-order. I don't even know where it's ended up at this point, but I know
I
they are
haven't.
all on Amazon.
Yes.
I can confirm that.
And the paperback will be available like on release day. It should be. So if
Yeah,
you're
I
more
would
of
say
a
once the
paperback,
release comes, it will be available across all major retailers.
yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about your upcoming release. I'm so excited for it, and I am so excited for readers to fall in love with the story.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right. I need to figure out how to hit end on this.